We're here. Ha! We made it.
Ah!
Nah. What?
Oh no, people are backwards.
Oh, are we?
Well, the ladies are fine.
Wait, what happened?
Yes,
That person.
they are.
I'm Penthos
Yes, they
today.
are.
Feel the sad.
Oh, I got it. Oops. Got it. The layers are backwards. I heard the ladies are backwards.
No, I
Oops.
said the ladies are fine.
Ah.
And Graham said, yes, they are.
Ah.
Well done, Graham. Well done.
It's because it's
They
because
just make it so damn easy.
it's a little bit of Arjun just, rise bubbling to the surface every so often.
Slipped. Are you saying Arjun slipped on him?
I did not. I just said he bubbled up.
Oh.
That's all I said.
I have this DM from a
Need
guy
your
named
last
Arjun.
paw.
Beautiful. All right. Well, hello everybody.
Hey,
Care
don't make me
less.
join that campaign. It's gonna get real sexy.
Oh man.
If anybody
Oh.
can make a toga work,
Mm-hmm.
or lack
You know what?
thereof.
I am not against any of this. Let's make it happen.
We'll just have a one shot where we like swap half the characters.
Iskra brings Arjun to drop him off like a daycare. Just like, all right, here you go, kids. Have fun.
Now, you can't make this any worse than it is. I take that as a challenge. I'm
I love
gonna
it.
irreparably change the gene pool of the Mediterranean all by my lonesome.
Oh no.
That's
Appreciate
just a
it.
weekend.
Yeah. Uh-huh. Oh, all right.
Break on Tear Room. We gotta do that episode.
Beautiful. All right. Well, I think we are ready to roll. I do have one thing. This Friday at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, I will be joining Turk over at the Grouch Couch. Oops, I did this. There you go. Now you can see it. So we're doing nerd trivia where I will be there with some of their community, and I don't know what else is going to happen. That's all I know. I'm doing trivia. That is the extent of it. So, if you're down to see me fail my Encarta 95 test, then here we go. Although I feel like it's going to be, I think it's going to be nerd related, so I don't think I'll have to worry about that. It's not going to be like facts, and then I'll see if I can phone a friend or something. I don't know. We'll see what happens. But yeah,
All rise.
let's get. Yes, for the Calimportian in loving memory of Calimport. Long
We
may
left
she-
it in good hands.
Yeah, strawberry. No better
This is where
hands
we
than
jump
straw.
cut and just some of the towers are leaning over, listing, burning.
It's
The
okay.
devil plant just surging up through the ground. It's fine. It's fine.
It's fine. It's fine. Everything's
Excuse me, demon plant. They would find that offensive.
fine. Yeah, it smells like strawberries pretty frequently there, from what I hear.
Ruh-roh.
Anyway,
I talked to the abyss once. It hurt my brain.
my brain. Oh, yeah, you did. All right. But yeah, I think as far as announcements goes, we got some more stuff coming up, but stay tuned for that. Otherwise, let's get Zeus. Yeah, no, this is me for Grouch Couch
get
wearing,
brave.
wearing their. It says GC in here, but you can't see it because it's
Oh, isn't that the limited edition? Only like
Yeah.
3 were made version.
one. There's only one that was made. It was one that was made, and I'm the only one who has it before they
You are, in
changed
fact,
it.
the boy.
Yeah, and now it's BOIS. And then I think they made their logo GC like actually stand out. So I've got the only one in existence.
The cool thing about commissioning your wonderful artists of our community is you all get one of a kind.
Exactly. I think that was all I have. So without further ado, let's get this party started. Wee wee. except it's not Mordor. Okay. And with that, we'll jump into tonight's recap of last time. The moment comes, Themisto, when your eyes burst open. And this is something of a habit for you, waking up with the dawn. And you find yourself now in this space, looking around at your companions in the dying embers of a small fire that was lit in the corner. And the soft, smoky scent of its final moments as you awaken. What do you do?
Themisto uncoils from her sleep and rises. She inhales and exhales deeply as she adjusts her goldenrod priestess regalia and selects her implements from her pack. Sinew, sword, a square of cloth, a small vessel of wine. Though she moves delicate and deliberate with the silence of the early day, her snakes bend and wave, alive with a secret revelation, a dream having taken the newly toppled prism of her worldview and lovingly shifted the facets that she might begin to see the beauty of its colors. With this in her mind, she steps outside and kneels, legs folded beneath her, at a point where morning sunlight chases shadow by the river running through the heart of this forgotten place. She lays her sword before her and begins, as she does every day, with ritual and prayer. Apollo Patheos, she begins. I, an aspirant, greet you, guided by your presence as surely as you guide the sun across the sky. Themisto lifts her sword, flat and offering with both hands. Eyes closed and face to the sun, and questions. Were you there with us, as my friends took their arms against the spiders born of darkness which attacked us, when Astrid and Cyprus returned light to this place? Was Hecate with A.T.L.A.S, as he pulled on the strings of magic? Was Lethe by the side of Pentos, bloodied by the battle and by time? Did Aphrodite grace Cyprus with his swiftness? For the first time, I do not know for certain. Themisto angles her sword, the point contacting the earth where light pushes against shade, and lets forth wine from the vessel, running from guard to sharp edge. Wine, the companion of mortal and god. It celebrates, mourns, it honors, dark with the vitae of life. What were the lives of the ancient ones who resided here? What befell them? These temple's walls tell the story of a people chased across the stars by something all-consuming. A.T.L.A.S and Astrid used her sacred chart to reveal the sky to us, to know of the ancients' journey. Such vastness we beheld, even the very earth wreathed in the blue of Atlas strength, circling our sun. I see now, Apollo, that you do not pull light across the heavens to touch the land, not in the way I believed. And yet, it was you who brought Phoebe to me, and now as then she carries the sun's warmth and calls it forth to brilliance. What does this mean? We will find you again. Themisto turns her sword to its reverse side, and picking up the earth, with an open palm she spreads the dirt across the blade. I honor you, Mother Gaia. From you we are born, and to you our bodies return. We looked upon the beautiful verdant sphere of a place which bears your name, farther away than I can possibly imagine, and tied to Mount Parnassus. And I was afraid. Afraid to know. Afraid that the columns on which the temple of my soul is built, that they rest upon a bed of sea sand to be washed away. But in a dream I have heard your voice. A tear runs down Themisto's face and mixes with the dirt on the blade. I will be your bridge. And what of Bahiri, in a sea beyond the sea? What secrets there rest? Taking up the sinew in her free hand, Themisto performs her final invocation, wiping remnants of the wine and dirt toward the sun. I grasp the sinew, Apollopitheos, as your soaring lyre and your mighty bow, and guide the elements of my being to see by the light of another dawn. A ritual complete, Themisto rises to greet the party and the mysteries of this lost colony.
Dang. Yeah. Well done.
I think I hit everything. Goop spiders attack. We go on a planetarium adventure, and
I still love that you guys are calling it that. The planetarium. Question
Everyone booed
is,
when they saw Earth.
beautiful. Oh my gosh. Turk, good to see you. Look, I'm representing the one and only. Anyway, yes. So beautiful, beautiful, beautiful as always.
so yes, Themisto is now out and about, near the river. What the rest of the party does, I'm sure, is up to them.
I will say that as timey-wimey things can be within what was the term we used last night? The flash forward. It was like it was flash forward something. We're watching the Star Wars.
Paradox.
No, it's like when you're doing a flashback, but it's not a flashback, it's a flash forward. But we did a flash forward, and now we're going to flashback as we go back to.
Aaron, if we're gonna watch all these Star Wars fan film things and get you all riled up before bed, you can't watch them anymore before stream.
True. Where is my I believe Phoebe and Cypress, you guys were having a little bit of a conversation during your watch during the night.
Probably.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, go for it.
Cypress. Okay, so good thing, not good thing.
Okay.
Well, great thing. Confusing thing.
Are those more things, or are you recategorizing?
The same things.
Okay. Go on.
I kissed her. Just on the cheek, just on the cheek.
That doesn't change. Wait, why? That's great. I mean, that doesn't. The qualifier of it being on the cheek does not devalue the event. It's not like, oh.
I just wanted to clarify, okay?
Of course.
And
I assumed that it was it reciprocated, or I hope so.
it kind of ran out of the building.
No. You fled.
Well, then we found you, and you were kind of freaking out, and you all
Yes.
had the memory of a dead person.
Oh, yes.
So
Yes, had come across. Did we tell you about it? We must have.
we out of character, we watched it with you.
We moved past it. That's right. Yeah, but we're doing all right here. Uh, in the meantime, I am a little bit worried that the spider is showing up was my fault. Because Astrid and I were in a building and we pressed or turned something on, and then lights came on everywhere, and then spiders showed up.
It could have been worse. We
Do you
know there
think
are
it
worse
was us?
things here on the islands. And if it wasn't you, it would have been any of us.
I don't know about that. I'm definitely the one who understands the least of what's going on. But that's all right. Laertes, it's nice to see him so interested in all of this. It's visually interesting, but I couldn't possibly weigh in on most of this. But I'm sidetracking. So did you like say anything to her? Did she say anything to you?
Well, she asked if I wanted to go to a play with her sometime.
Well, that's nice.
Yes.
And I assume the answer is yes.
Yes, if we ever get back to somewhere with the play.
That is quite a good point. But
And
that's really nice. She's really nice. As are you.
and then
Uh,
tonight, watching everything here. I don't know, Cypress. I
don't know what.
wanted to say something to. I didn't know how to help. And
Oh,
I don't know how to do any of this. I didn't want to say the wrong thing, and I don't know if I said enough or not, and then she turned away without saying anything, and it shouldn't have hurt so bad.
well, I mean, that feeling of hurt and worry, that's not inherently a bad thing. Kind of comes with it. Certainly in matters that are important. I can't pretend to know what she's going through, but from the way you all are talking and from the way that I've seen her react, there's clearly something that's shifted in how she looks at things. Uh, and Apollo's place in life, and I'm also horrible at putting this stuff to words, but I mean, I think you should just have faith in her and in yourself. I think you are both strong enough to come through this. Her with the hurdles that she's up against, and you with these relationship hurdles. Hopefully next time you won't run out of the room. But so that's also not inherently a bad thing. But just be present, I think. Be there.
Thank you,
Okay.
Cypress.
Of course. It's the most powerful thing that one can be and do for someone is be there for them.
And how are you? So far away from the one you love.
37 days. We're doing all right. It is hard to do that thing that is so important of being there for each other when there's a distance between. But despite going through my own levels of fear and worry and pain, I have to have faith in him and myself that will overcome it. I think that he is strong enough, so I just need to be. Aphrodite spoke to me again.
Oh? What did she
It-
say this time?
I was afraid after finding that poor girl that it made me afraid of dying alone. And I called out to her, hoping to get some consolation. Consoling words are weird. And she just assured me that she was present and that she was watching, she was helping in whatever way she can. I don't know what role all the gods serve in our lives, but that does seem to be at least one thing that they are doing for us when they can is be present. Beyond that, I'm not quite sure, but I think we just should keep believing in each other and ourselves.
Well, I believe in you, and I believe in the love you have for Astarion.
And you and yours.
I
He'll
miss Apollo.
he'll reach out his hand to you.
And I'll take his hand.
I'm glad you're here with me, Phoebe. I don't know how much longer this adventure will take. Hopefully not, but I know it would be considerably harder if you were not here with me.
I think I would have already lost my mind fretting if you were not here to counsel me.
He kind of raises his hand in a Themisto would be like, "Oh, you're doing it wrong," but in a official, trying to imitate a way a priest holds their hand in a form of benedictory blessing type of way, he, he says, "And may the gods, especially Aphrodite, bless you on your journey."
I don't know if I need a priest, Cypress, but I would settle for a brother.
Well, that's good because I can't promise anything, but I can.
Besides, I've got my sights set on a different priestess.
You should keep saying those. I think she'll like those.
It's interesting that as he was doing that, Cypress and Phoebe, though there's been a little bit of a general hanging feeling, there's a little bit of a lift to that and a little bit of warmth in both your hearts, in that the power of friendship kind of way, but like in that power of like newfound friends that bond, when you really, yeah, I guess when you really bond about something and you kind of have that little bit of a warmth buzz, and you know that the other person feels it too, and it's just like satisfaction is maybe not the right word, but it's like you feel satisfied, you feel happy about it.
Joy.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. You feel there's like a little bit
No?
Sound
No?
like his Penthos is asleep.
What's wrong with that? Oh, it's Penthos shaking his head. I get it.
Penthos just like all of a sudden turns in his sleep like, oh.
So he's like
Nightmare.
the bully in Encino Man, where he just sort of leans in the frame.
And it's like almost tactile. Both Cypress and Phoebe, you feel a warmth. As Cypress said, this is a warmth that you have felt before. When you do something that is approved of. A reaffirming warmth. All right. I think I'm trying to remember who had gone first watch. I think you guys had gone first watch, right? Oh no, Penthos? Was it Penthos and
Astrid?
Astrid? That's right.
Yeah, we had a moment.
That's right. And then it was gonna be Phoebe and Cypress. And then was it
I had a thing for the morning, but
okay, yeah. All right. Well, we'll just say that with that, then you guys try and get to sleep, you get a long rest.
Yay! Now I can finally catch up on chat.
Definitely gonna click that button.
Click that button, like and subscribe, or what have you.
I wish to subscribe for sleep.
Yes.
Can I get sleep premium?
It becomes free after a certain point.
After, I guess. Well, yeah. Laertes, as you awaken with in the morning. What are you doing?
Because I passed out early and very quickly, after trying to access that crystal. I imagine I'm probably waking up around the same time as the Misto, but she had wandered outside. And I assume everyone is sort of nestling in the same
Yeah.
space.
Same space ish.
But there was a sort of another room. Did I understand that correctly?
Yeah, it was kind of like there was the mausoleum like showroom, and then there was the fire. There was like the other room that had a little bit of like greenhousey balcony kind of thing. It was still covered, but it had windows to it, so you could see outside. So that's
Perfect.
kind of where everybody had been whenever they were doing watch. That way they could just kind of see what was outside, because otherwise there's no windows in the other room. So, and that way conversation wouldn't have been bothered everybody.
Right. Actually, I think I can remember that picture from the art channel.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's sort of like
yeah,
not arbor,
right. I was like, it's not a greenhouse, but it's just like a little
greenhouse. Yeah, that's kind of the word I'm looking for.
Yeah.
About
only
botanical
I
garden
think
looking kind of thing. So he does, I guess, find himself in that area, trying to get just a little bit of space. And this, I guess, his first action would be to lower his density so it's easier for him to get up in the morning. Just that little more limber than he was, but when he passed out, a little more agile than he is normally. But it still only has just a little bit of a bounce to the step rather than, full running through field energy. But
Right.
it's enough to be getting on with. And he'll make his way into that little room, kind of enjoy the tranquilness of the space. Tranquility. There we go. I can English. And he begins some little routines that look a little like Tai Chi, or at least what we would think of as Tai Chi. Slow, methodical, precise, practiced. And since Elvie's here, I'll use a word just for her. There's a lot of focus on fingering.
Okay.
For anyone
cool.
that's watched a fair amount of The Magicians, there's a lot of that. Yeah.
The that was heard around the world.
Hey, musicians have to practice their fingering, and no one loses their minds over it.
Anyway,
We'll get
go
to
on.
Sonder in a moment. And it's just this meditative practice of how he accesses what everyone around him seems to refer to as magic, but he can't bring himself to call it that. It still feels like science to him. And he does have to wonder at a time, at what point did learning this much about philosophy, this much about math, physics, science, history, at what point did that unlock something in his mind that he could do and the things that he could do? He has understanding of what he's doing, but he was never quite sure exactly the leap from, I know if I can spin that particle just enough, it'll have the effect that I want it to. But how did I learn how to actually cause the effect in the first place? And he still never quite garnered an answer to that. And his mind keeps wandering back to the crystals embedded in the wall. And after a time of doing this for a while, he does wander back into the room, seeing whether or not anybody has started to stir awake. And while he doesn't want to just rip those crystals out of the wall just in case there is something else attached, you can't help but think that it's intentionally hidden in plain sight to be seen, to be found. But he doesn't want to be irresponsible about it in case there's just something else and everyone's asleep during that. So while everyone's starting to get their bearings, he's just going to go into the ritual practice of detecting magic so he can think of how he's going to pluck them from the wall without doing more harm.
Okay. As detect magic takes its effect.
The intent behind it here is like he's looking for some kind of arcane trap.
Yeah.
If that makes any sense.
As it starts to take effect, and you see and start to resonate with a couple of different sources of magical energy, some of them flowing through the room, much in the way of like as if you could see the power lines that are like in a wall. You kind of see these like sources of energy that kind of just course through. The crystals do exude a magical energy, but you don't see anything that resembles a trap.
Okay. I'll keep that in mind, but I'm still going to wait for them to be awake just in case. Rather not spring anything else on them that I'm ignorant to and they're in a nap.
Yeah, that's fine. And as everybody starts to waken, you know that Themista had already had gone outside a little bit. So Astrid and Phoebe, Cypress and Penthos, as they start to stir, what are you guys doing?
Cleaning the arbor.
Fair enough.
I guess she left the doorway open, or
It's probably cracked a little bit. I would assume.
I'll look over and notice that the Misto's not there, and then just kind of start packing back up.
Okay.
what is Astrid doing?
She'll do the same. She had first shift, so it makes sense that she would wake up later. Yeah, she'll pack up and go outside, get some sun.
Yeah, and I would say that by the time you guys, the rest of them start stirring, the sun has already started. It's still like dawn, we'll say, but the sun is definitely starting to light the spaces.
I think Penthos, before he heads outside, will take a good look at I forgot the word you used, the mural, the large kind of
No.
art with a sense of like kind of grandeur and longing.
Yep.
But the first moment he notices like somebody noticing him taking a while at it, he will kind of shake it off and hurry outside.
Okay. Alrighty. Well, let me see here. Do this one. All right. Well, as everybody's starting to wake up, Laertes, what are you wanting to do?
Well, since they've already started to file out, I guess I'll start with the one that I'd sort of already tapped into, because you made it seem like the center one wasn't easily budging.
It just needs, it's not like loose. It needs to kind of be pried.
Okay. So I guess I'll kind of just back up and just reach out and sort of affect local gravity around it. Like I'm trying to just clasp around it and I guess sort of just reel it in.
Mm-hmm.
See if I can actually just...
It pops out of the socket that it was laid in.
Oh,
Just kind of floats there. There's a little bit of like residual dust that kind of comes off with it, like it had pulled some of the wall off with it. Just like they kind of float.
Are they all kind of like that clear diamond look, or is there something different?
The more quartzy, so not quite clouded, but not like pure like transparency.
Okay.
And you can take a closer look once it gets up to you.
I'll do that once it gets down to me. It doesn't take very long. Second or two.
Make a perception check for me.
Cool. Perception. Not great, not terrible. 14.
14? That's fine. Taking this crystal in hand, you've already seen a couple, and it's one of the first things that, or one of the things that you have just noticed that there is a haze to it, but whenever you're looking inside of the crystal itself, it almost looks as if segmented is not the right word either. It's almost like, and it's not broken, but it looks like cracks that travel through in specific pathways. So it's as if that there were seams, or I guess in a sense, it's kind of like looking at a circuit board in a computer. You see the little lines that are all drawn in there. And in a sense, it's like the imperfections that you do see seem methodically placed within it, so that as you kind of rotate it in whatever light that you have, it seems to catch what these like particles or imperfections within. To the untrained eye, you see a placed pattern within it. And it kind of sticks out in your head, I guess, a little bit, that maybe when you look at some of the other ones, you can see if that has something similar to it, that or not.
I mean, there could be a pattern that makes more sense once they're all together, like a sort of Voltron of spell books kind of deal, but he will file that away. He'll kind of put that where he normally keeps his for now, and he will try and methodically pluck the other ones from the wall as well.
And they just as easily, in quotations, pull themselves free from the walls mountings.
And the center one's more like a
more elongated
rod-ish.
Crystal. Yeah, elongated crystal, like a finer point at one end, a thicker point at the other. Kind of just like the quintessential, it's like the quintessential like crystal vibe, where it's just like thinner at the bottom, bigger at the top. but like long. Listen, these are words that I have to use to describe these things.
I know. I was there with you. I understood it. But yeah, that one comes along as well.
Mhm.
And considering it was what one like this is what Astrid used to plug into the star chart.
Mhm.
And it was more like a I don't know, diary data log or something. Does he get a little bit of that sense as he kind of just
They are
carefully compared
yeah.
to a lot previously, even kind of just try and not even like read what the file is as much as read the metadata kind of thing.
Surface level thoughts.
Yeah.
Make an Arcana check for me.
Can do. No. Great. 12.
Okay. Fair enough that from your experience so far, the smaller circular design to the crystals that resemble more like yours contain a dense amount of equations akin to your own, leading you to believe that these are basically more like pure information or written in a way that could be like spell books if like studied over time. The one that stayed in the center does seem to have stored information, but it doesn't seem it doesn't like bore into your mind like the other ones do. The other ones are going to require a little more careful practice of like translating that over. This is more gentle in a way, that the way the information
This
is
is
placed
more
here.
like the instruction manual rather than the actual magic itself.
Yeah,
How
it's
to use
more
the things.
it is more yeah, I guess more diary than instruction
okay.
than hardcore manual. It has information, it's got stuff stored on it, but it doesn't seem as intense as the other two.
Okay. That makes sense. Yeah, I'll just specifically I'll put that one in that sort of little small satchel I have with my like little tinkering tools to go over that when we have a little bit of a rest later. And instead of spending more time on this, I will go out to meet everyone. Glad that I didn't halfway explode something. And where I can
Nah.
hear Tali just going, this time.
I literally was about to say that.
Same.
All right, so you guys,
Wow. I can just see this sort of flashback to like Laertes and Tali crawling out of a lab having that like Grandpa Munster amount of smoke and soot on them. It wasn't my fault, I swear.
The fear with the A.T.L.A.S deactivation could have been your ultimate destruction of an entire.
Late
Yeah,
stage
that was
Laertes.
pretty amazing.
Thanks, guys.
that was pretty amazing. You step outside and are one of the first things you hear is the fact that you can kind of hear birds once again. In the chirping through the trees and brush around you.
Well, that's a relief to hear.
Yes. That's hopeful. Perhaps we just find the next place without the sound of life. Deal with whatever's residing there, and then this place becomes alive again.
Is
Probably
the,
not that simple, but
Were you going to say, Themisto?
Sorry. Just is the water wheel now in motion? That
You can see it
Cypress
at the
and
end.
Astrid have activated that.
Yep, at the entrance of the settlement, you can see the little as it like slowly goes through, and the splashing of the water as it picks up and continues to move. You did notice that the lights this morning all kind of dimmed on their own as the sun rose. They kind of like shifted, so they made adjustments for the lack of sun. And then now that the sun is starting to rise, some of those lights are now beginning to turn off, or at least dim to. You can see that the color of the light is there, but it's not really bright in the effort to warm or anything. It just
Look at the
gives.
old kingdom and their energy efficiency. I love it.
Penthos, what are you to say?
I'll just address the group and kind of simply say, so, does everyone want to check out every building? Or do we want to move toward the center first?
I would sooner find out what threat there still is before we scour the place, but I'd happily go at whatever speed the rest are.
There could be threats in any building.
Or for more knowledge, the place we just came from had things beyond what I could have possibly imagined only a day ago. So, to my mind, it would be a shame not to check each place.
We could also go toward the center, and given everything goes well, come back. But that is not promised. It's up to you. I will support your decision.
I'm gonna say
What do we think?
Go for it, Sai.
The hand was first for. Are there still corpses of the tar spiders?
Those burned
No.
away, just like
Okay.
everything else of that nature and ilk that you have encountered so far.
Gotcha. Cool.
Self-dimming lights, biodegradable villains. It's a really advanced culture.
I do wonder because I'm led to assume, or at least I sure did yesterday, when Astrid and I walked into a room, something turned on and the spider showed up. Do we have a theory on what made them appear then? Because we could either replicate it or prevent it.
I presumed that it was the magic you released that attracted them to this face. But then again, I am finding I am not the authority I thought I was.
It seems like maybe the spiders were not made of something real. So
We've encountered something like it before.
there could be so many more. Just right around the corner. All made of tar. And left in the wind when we get done with them. But we're tired and they are not.
Well, unless we suspect that something about us accomplishing our goal here would prevent us from coming back, then my vote would be to head towards the center and then study the wonders of this place. But that also comes from a viewpoint where obviously Laertes and the rest of you are observing something that is beyond me. But I would think that the best call would be to eliminate the main threat of this area. It's my opinion.
Sonia, you're outside. You go ahead of me.
Yeah.
Sorry.
We have learned something with each building we've been inside. I, for one, have done this. I feel as though we can learn more and more about the enemy. The further down we go, the more buildings we encounter, the more information about what happened here might give us an advantage against this dark creature. I say we continue to scour the place for any clues that might lead to any aid we can get for fighting against this thing. Maybe this was something that these people made. Maybe they know more about it than we have information about ourselves. They were scared of it. They must have studied it, right?
We're going to say Larities.
Oh, I'm still inside, so if the Misto
Oh.
had something important to add.
Nothing important, no. I've made my feelings clear.
To explore, right? Just to make sure that I'm on the same page as well, where I can be.
Apparently, I have not made my feelings clear. Yes.
Glad I asked. So the opposite then. You want to head towards the center.
2 for explore, 1 for going to center.
Is that also wrong? Because I,
Yes!
I really
You had it right the first time.
I use the power of language
Hear
to
a hiss from
understand.
the Mr. Snakes.
Did they start rattling at this point, or
Oh yes, they have no rattles, but somehow.
they're just accrued maracas on the way into this place?
Rude maracas. Another good bit.
I'm sorry, Themisto. It's why I asked. Because clearly assuming would lead me in the wrong direction.
But
at this
listening
point-
would lead you in the right direction.
True.
At this point, Laertes will have walked out, and since he's not on fire, covered in smoke or anything, things probably went well. Sorry, what did I miss? Seems like we're debating something.
I don't know.
Want to go to the center.
I'm trying to figure out whether to head straight to the center of the island or take our time.
We could perhaps split the difference, where if this path is leading us towards the center, we can hit a few and not all. As much as I would love to spend months, perhaps even years, here unraveling everything, I don't think we have time. Check out a few along the way, and then, if we can, see more. There may be other settlements along the way.
Okay.
Then, Phoebe, we have not heard your voice yet on this matter.
I do not have a strong opinion one way or another.
Then, to my mind, it is Laertes' solution that breaks this impasse, as we have two one way or the other.
Alrighty.
All right.
All right. So,
Hey, Aaron.
yeah. Mhm.
Can I ask for a check from someone else?
Mhm.
Astrid, can you roll an insight check into me?
You notice that Penthos has grown a long, curling mustache.
And a train track
I
has
really need to stop
spontaneously
with
appeared
this.
through town.
And he's asking everyone about the trolley problem.
It's a 9 because I hate I forget to just roll in person with my regular dice, and that I hate online dice. Forgetting that. But yeah, no.
Penthos is staring at you.
She remembers though the conversation from last night and has been looking for an apt opportunity to mention it to you. But it's on her mind. If that's what this is about.
Could be.
She's already been thinking about it. Maybe.
All you know is Penthos is just staring with a big old face.
She's been thinking about the thing since she woke up, but yeah.
Beautiful. Alrighty.
Okay, Pentos. You're thinking about something?
Well, I've never been okay.
Hmm.
And yes, I was thinking about something. How did you know?
You look constipated.
That's my everyday.
It's a lot of fruit.
Did we talk last night?
We did. We had the shift, the first shift last night. You remember this?
Of course. Yes. First shift. Good talk.
What's
I'm
the
sure.
talk? You're sure? It was a good talk. We can talk about it later. If you would like.
I would
And
really
I'll look to the others too.
like that.
Are we all standing around hearing this?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes. There's like going back and forth between Astrid and Penthos.
People need to use their words to be
Can
clear.
I inside check Penthos if we're watching this conversation?
Sure.
Um, 18.
Penthos doesn't recall. He's lying.
Yep.
Everyone roll insight to see if I didn't see that coming.
Beautiful.
Penthos, so
liar.
you're alright.
I'm never all right.
Is there something different about you today?
No.
Insight check. I've never needed to do this. 14.
Maybe you should have been doing that with Aphrodite. Just saying.
I already suspect enough people.
I mean, it's a very general question you asked them. But so as far as he knows, no, there's nothing wrong or like different than yesterday, given the circumstances of an incredibly like climactic series of days. Taking that away.
Who all was there when you remembered something last session? Was that just Astrid?
It was just Astrid because
Okay.
I needed the map and a navigator of sorts because they were talking about the ascension. But so for the insight check people, except for Astrid because you're sucked. Penthos, his eyes are darting around like when someone is stuck in a place and they're searching like their mind for an answer. There's a lot of uncomfort in that. And so it's made more uncomfortable by Astrid's very casual request of like, yeah, we'll talk about it later. It's like, yeah, for sure. Yeah.
I'd like to walk up to Penthos. There's nearly a 2-foot difference between us. But I want to like make direct eye contact with you. You're looking the wrong way, buddy.
That'd be
Penthos.
cool.
You serve the Lady of Forgetting. Does she make you forget?
I believe sometimes, yes. But I don't know when and I don't know why. But I'm sure it is for a very good reason.
You can't remember last night, can you?
No.
Can I hear
Astrid.
this? Yeah.
Yeah,
okay.
you guys are standing there all together.
Do
Yeah.
I remember? If I try to recall it, I remember myself. Like I,
Make an intelligence
the player
check for me.
remembers. Oh no! And then-
While you're doing that, Phoebe will ask Astrid, what did she take from him?
Intelligence check or saving throw?
Saving throw.
I really need to stop using these goddamn dice on the computer.
Well, listen.
It's a 10.
It gives and it takes away. That's why I always use the online dice,
Nice.
because sometimes I
I
will
don't
do
trust them
so
anymore.
many high rolls in a row.
As a DM, it's fine, but as a player, it feels personal.
I hear
It's a
that.
10. It's
hear
a 10, and I hate it. Yay! Roleplay.
There. You remember the conversation. You remember some things. Yeah.
Do I at least remember the name? No.
There is a name. There was a name that was brought up,
Do once.
but
know
it's
it,
slipping the
but-
edges of your tongue right now.
Okay.
I think it's best if I don't remember. Maybe I got too close to something.
Something that was important to you. You kept saying he was there, and you mentioned the name, but I don't remember it.
Ooh, eyes get real dilated. Like, but
He was
doesn't
there.
Continue.
It seemed important to you.
Well, I think there's a lot of that going around, and I'm just gonna kind of look up from, Phoebe and just look at the huge swath of just history and kind of look at each person who has weighed in on the importance of just location and history and everything that can be found in each kind of step. And I think Penthos will continue. Maybe we just think about this a little bit later and find what we can, splitting the difference as we do. And if it comes up again, then we'll deal with it then.
I don't understand what good can come from forgetting. Clearly she hasn't taken away any pain from you.
Phoebe, my new friend, I think you are assuming that the pain that I feel right now is as big as it could be.
But if you forget the pain, then you forget the joy, and they often go hand in hand.
Maybe this person was no joy. Maybe it was further suffering for him.
I've never known joy and pain to be so closely linked. What a good life that must be. But I do not want to sullen the day. Let's go to the next house. I'll escort you. And I will take a big kind of, step back with his long limbs and kind of pivot toward, not quickly, just, kind of ushering everybody to like the permission of movement to kind of go toward the next thing. But we'll kind of punctuate it with like a look over the shoulder toward Phoebe. And there's that kind of like easy nod of like, I understand that you are caring. I just don't have the answers for it. Like all in the nod, like.
Phoebe's still gonna let you take several steps forward and kind of hang back and take up the rear.
Cypress.
Cypress kind of falls back next to Phoebe. He said that Alexov was here, right?
I think Astrid was the only one that heard that.
Okay, no. Then yeah, never mind. He doesn't know that. What if he was the one who caused himself pain? What if Penthos, before we knew him, and before Lethe found him, was his own source of suffering and other people's suffering? And he's tried to get a new lease by forgetting that.
I know I have not suffered the way that the others have. But
And
if
this,
I gave up all of my past, I would not know what it is to be here now. How important the people are. I would not be me anymore.
What if who you were hurt people? You're right, you wouldn't be you. And maybe that's why. Maybe he's literally cast off, willingly, unwillingly, but at least with some agency, who he was.
I don't know.
I don't
have
know
a
what we
lot
do
of
with that.
faith in Lethe right now.
Me neither, but... And I want to trust Penthos. He has been an ally as far as I've been able to tell. He's been a friend. But what if him remembering more undoes who he is? Because who he is the absence of his past. I don't know what we do with that. Or if it's true, because that's a lot of assumptions, but of all the reasons why I would think to worship someone who makes me forget, it would be because the thing that I wanted to forget was so horrible that, other than death, that was the main way to kill that person. Forget them. I'll go up front. I'll keep an eye out for more of the spiders, or whatever other dangers still are ahead. And he'll just kind of pick up the pace.
Okay. Laertes.
Sandra was first.
Oh,
actually.
Sandra, go for it.
So good. Good. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I was just gonna take a moment to just be walking alongside Themisto for once.
Ah,
That's it.
sounds good.
Esther will catch up to the front, and in passing, Penthos says, "If you have an urge to taste your past, again, let me know. I'm willing to do another session. Whatever it is that you were feeling last night was strong, and maybe you don't believe that you should know, but a person's life, I don't think, should be kept from them, their actions. We learn from them. So, I take care of you. You take care of us. Okay.
I think you guys know Penthos in the entirety of the time that he's been with y'all. Most, this is kind of like a little meta how I'm saying this, but the conversations that we have are the conversations that Penthos would have. I think normally a character would, have little conversations that have no real bearing on the story to kind of fill in the day. Penthos doesn't really talk away from the moments where I'm speaking as him, but it's not that he's not communicating. I think it's a lot of like, utterances and sighs and nods and things, kind of that skittish behavior, just being uncomfortable in the size that he is and in the constant communication that he kind of feels like he's in. So this kind of instance is one of those moments of you can absolutely tell that he took all that in, but has nothing that he can really say. So there's like a deep nod, like a deep blink, and you notice him kind of also turn his attention toward the river and kind of back to you and then back forward. And that's what he says.
She actually expects that like non-response, and just pats him on the shoulder and continues forward. It's okay.
All right. As you continue to move forward through the remnants and ruins of Crete on, I would like all of you to make investigation checks for me.
Yay. Select some structures at random to investigate.
Would it be appropriate to change my role to Arcana?
If something presents itself, yes.
Okay. I'll just stay with investigation then, since I think that's the track you want to stay on.
Okay. 7?
Sorry, making what kind of check?
25?
25.
I got a 7.
Oh, okay.
What kind of check?
7, buddy.
Investigation.
14.
18.
18. Astrid?
14.
14. Laertes?
12.
12. Themisto?
Despite my best hopes, I rolled a 9.
Okay.
Does what's his face? Ladon help anyone? Is that a thing that he can do?
You know,
Can he help me?
Phoebe,
Little helper.
Ladonna's not around.
Whoa.
Like, since we woke up?
Yeah, and it's one of those things where you're like, it's not like you necessarily had gotten used to his presence, but
I think it would have sadly like taken a little bit to
Yeah.
notice, like,
But
wait,
you're
did
like,
we
wait a
get
minute.
dragon yesterday?
wasn't there like a thing? And you realize that you have not seen him since the night before.
The misto.
Yes, she kind of looks back.
Ledon's not with you, is he?
Now that you mention it, I have not seen him since the afternoon.
And as
He's
you,
not hiding in your pack, is he? Getting more fruit?
I don't believe so, no. You're welcome to check. She kind of like squats down a little bit so that, it
To
can
check the
be
backpack.
examined while it's still on her back.
What was that,
No.
Aaron?
no, I was just that. I love it. Yeah, nope. It doesn't seem to be around. And you kind of start looking around and you see the birds that are like flying through the little trees and all of this kind of stuff and looking for any sort of semblance of the small flying lizard. But I don't see him.
He was a wild creature. Maybe he decided not to stay.
He was a curious being, yes. He may yet return to us.
He was able to hold full conversation. I wouldn't say he was wild as much as willful.
Well, he
Perhaps
has
both.
lived amongst the wild for far longer than we have.
As you explore the ruins, you find that several of the buildings have been washed out. Evidence of collapsed walls and then the piling and slow deterioration of debris, as if some great flood of water had washed walls over and buried things with trees and limbs that have now long become petrified almost in place.
Are there any like big patches of sunlight, or is it pretty like overgrown?
It's overgrown. There's not like huge patches of sunlight, but there's that dappling of like sunlight through the trees kind of thing.
I'll say that as Phoebe passes through some of those, she'll just kind of like pause for a second in them.
You find there is the ones you've already kind of passed it anyway, but there's the one section of part of the oh my god, why are words failing me? Part of the colony here that look like that swath of destruction, right? Like something had impacted here and like broken through things as it looks super fresh. You also see that there is that large tree that has been down further towards the center, broken in half at a high point, not at a low point, but at a high point, as if something had smacked into it and splintered the wood. You even see that there are singe marks occasionally on not only houses but the scorched sides of the cliff face that make the walls of both sides of this colony. You see that there are remnants of battle here, of some massive something massive on a power scale. Penthos, what were you gonna say?
This is kind of like a very general question about how can I put this? Divinity works. Because of Orphix and everything. but also the scale of everything and knowing that there's like from the vision the kind of battle of immense powers. What am I trying to say? Are there could one assume that there are, for lack of a better term, like shards of divinity, like traces from a battle that one could recognize that there is almost like
Like
radiation,
evidence.
you
Yeah.
know? Yeah. The best version is like they forgot their sword. To something that uh, remnants that like tell a story in any sort of way, or is it just like scarring? You know, just nothing you can really figure out. Sorry if that's a terrible sort of
No,
question.
it makes sense, and I kind of have had the details of what you see is kind of inlaid there with the investigation of what you're seeing. But in that and in that is what I mean by what like you can tell like the blast looked like a lightning struck here. The shattering looks like someone had broken through a wall or smashed the tree down. You even see what looks like stone that has moved or shifted. AKA for the players, like shape earth, right? Like it's just these columns of earth that don't necessarily belong, in the shape that they are. It's just all of these signs of a battle of the gods. And for you particularly, Penthos, you do see that it does have that like powerhouses were involved here, right? But as far as like finding any remnants or scraps of anything, you don't see like armor or swords or anything like that. But just the the obvious trail of gods battled here is clearly left, and that it wasn't something that happened long ago. This was recent in comparison to the rubble that you find. I was going to say rebel.
Yeah, that was the next question. If like there are marks in the ground, has like an ecosystem kind of like taken over? Like how much has
Yeah,
nature taken over those things? As like
not they
a
have not.
calendar almost.
Yeah. All of these bits are recent.
Okay. Thank you.
Kind of squares with what Ladon was telling us before.
Um, you do find some buildings that it seems like when doors of an abode were faced away from the center of the island, that abode seemed better off than if the door was faced towards the center. Those buildings, I'll say, you do notice that they are broken inwards, as if the great rush of water had come from that direction and the door had been like the weak point, whereas if it was faced the opposite direction, it was like it washed over, used the back or brunt of the building. In one such building, let's see, who Cypress rolled an 18. Was anybody else above that?
No. I got a 14.
A 14.
Yeah.
Okay. So as you were like kind of looking through some of these places, you do find that there is a small wooden chest, Cypress, that you kind of find that has been buried under a little bit of the rubble. In one particular building. Do you do anything to pull it out?
First, I make sure that my party members are nearby in
Okay.
case I stick to it. I'll tap it with my sword and then open it.
Just ting ting. The sword hits the carved wood. Nothing happens.
All right. Pop this open.
You take out this chest, and it's probably a good 3 feet across by like 2 feet across. It's a sizable chest, and in it are the shimmering fabric. and it looks like it's just kind of rolled on top, almost like folded towels kind of thing. It just looks like it's just kind of rolled up and placed in there. And as you bring it up, you see that it glimmers in a little bit of the sunlight that is coming in through an open door. And as it catches the light, it kind of it almost looks like shiny disco-like material, as it almost kind of refracts in a rainbow kind of hue. But as you place it on your hand, it also feels oddly warm to the touch. And as you pull it out all the way and kind of shake it off, it almost looks like a shirt or a long tunic of some sort.
Hey, Laertes. I found this cloth tunic thing. Look at it. And he's gonna hold it up to him.
Like, is he trying to go like, does this fit me, or do you want me to do something with it? Like,
No, you're smart. Like, what does it? Does this look like something? Anything other than just shiny clothing?
Just to save the 10 minutes, Aaron, does this sound like anything I would have read about? Otherwise, I'd just sit down with it and
I'll just put it on.
casting identify.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely doesn't match any clothing that you have seen before. It doesn't look stylized like anything that you have seen before, so it is unique in that aspect.
Does it look like the sort of thing Austin Powers would wear on the moon?
Kind of.
Okay, we're going full Moonraker into it. Okay, I'll take a few minutes to try and do identify.
You find that this cloth is laced with transmutation. Like, pretty intensely laced with transmutation.
Okay. Should I be looking up something, or?
Yeah, because you're casting identify, right?
Yeah, so it tells me pretty much everything about it.
Basically, you put this on, you can. I'm pulling it up right now.
You start melting. It's the golden fleece from Medea.
But the golden fleece is made out of like nuclear asbestos, so it's a bad time for everyone.
You catch fire, and if people touch you, they catch fire.
All right. This is what is called in D&D terms glamour weave. So it is a transmutation and illusory. So that basically you put it on and you can use a bonus action to create a moving illusory pattern within the cloth. Basically, you can make it look like however you want. You can fashion yourself a new toga. You can fashion yourself anything that your imagination imagines. You will be able to.
Does it fit over full armor?
I was gonna ask Aaron, does it add like any kind of armor thing, or is it just changes itself?
It just changes itself. It does give you, when you make a charisma, like persuasion or performance check while wearing this, you can roll a d4 and add the number rolled to the check. Once you do this, you can only do that once a day.
It sort of seems to be, I guess, a bit of a chameleon cloth. You can make it look like, well, however you want.
Oh.
It might be.
Well, that's...
Yeah. Go ahead.
That's handy. Anyone... Can any one of us think of, like, someone who would benefit from this the most? The only thing that pops into my head, because I...
More than one.
Oh, shit! He gets back into...
There's like
you would have to roll
How many of these are there?
to notice that?
I
goes
do.
back over to the chest.
Actually, there are 4 pieces of glamour weave gowns.
Cool. So now, who deserves this the least?
We can figure that out later.
Yeah,
But-
here. I'll hold on to it for now, unless someone else wants one.
I think I'm good for
I'll
now.
put them in my bag.
Beautiful.
Neat.
Astrid, you look like you had something pressing.
It's fun. It's best.
You sure? Okay.
Do we need to attune to it?
No.
He will. Cypress will see if it fits on over his armor.
It kind of catches on a couple of things, but it can be like initially pulling it over. It looks incredibly uncomfortable. It does not flow very well.
All right, so this is not exercise gear, but he'll try and make it look like he is shirtless.
Yeah, it happens. It shimmers a little bit and it shows the butt. You basically have those shirts that look like you have the six-pack body painted on the shirt. But
see, I am not wearing any armor. I am defenseless.
Esther wants to
There's something
take
wrong
a
with your
shirt
texture pack.
or a gun.
Don't point that.
yeah, you what? What'd you say?
Esther wants to take one of the guns.
Sure.
Okay. She's going to look at the forest beyond and try to picture that on the gun. Try to see if she can make the first camouflage.
So you do that, and the gown stays on, but it shows patterns of like vine and greenery that kind of like looks like they sprout and grow along your body. It doesn't necessarily make you invisible, but it might aid you in said
Camouflage.
in a stealth check or something.
That's perfect. Yeah, I love it. She loves it. She'll keep one.
Okay.
Ranger
So that, then just add a glamour weave to your inventory. Continuing down through the continuing to look through some of these homes as you make your way to the center, you're starting to see that this giant structure that was standing in the center that looks so mountainous and vast from afar is truly gigantic up close, but the greenery that looked like trees that had grown up all along its surface, you realize now at close range is a mixture of mosses, grasses, and ferns and shrubs, so that it from a distance it gives it the appearance of being like a mountain in the distance that has like a forest that kind of covers its entirety of its surface. You now see it's basically like as if you had I do not have one. A cube that's sitting on its side or sitting on a point, so that the top kind of the pyramid of the shapes kind of appears at the top of it. If that is making any sense at all. Kind of. No. Okay. I'm trying to think of another way to explain this. I guess we'll use this. It's not a perfect square or a perfect cube by any means, but it sits like this point down into the ground and this point up into the air.
Okay.
Does that make better sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So that the top facing portions of it are what's covered in grass and shrub, and then the pieces below you can see that there are vines that hang down, and it seems to sit. It looks like the point goes beyond your field of vision from where you're probably still about 100 feet from it. You pick one last house, and because of this 18, you find yet another. You find in a larger building. This building looks like it had been sealed until something had broken into it, like a smashed section of the wall. Here in the rubble, you find several bodies that, again, had long been decomposed and have now, strangely enough, look recently twisted and deformed, as if they had for a brief time shifted. And you kind of think back to the bodies you had seen earlier. These, you can see where they maybe had laid, as there's like almost like little chalk markings of like their clothing that had like slowly eroded over time. But they have like shifted and moved to other positions within the building, as if had recently come to life and now had fallen silent again. In as you are looking around, you find two what looks like almost like a large almond, the size of an egg, but it looks like an almond. You find one amongst them. You find that there is a gem that hangs from a necklace tied around one of the bodies. A coin pouch that seems left and neglected. Yeah, and that's about all that you find in this one particular large building.
So it's going to poke one of the bodies with a weapon.
With what?
With their with a javelin.
A javelin?
It's going to poke the body with the gem around the neck.
It gives a little bit as the dried skin kind of like collapses under the press of your of the javelin. But it doesn't move.
She's going to take. Go ahead.
No, I would say there's probably a little bit of the beating of your heart that kind of like starts to lower a little bit, thinking that it's gonna grab it again.
I look back at the crew and say, "Do you think that maybe the darkness creatures that we encountered occupied these bodies for a little bit?"
Fair assumption.
Do you still have Identify on? Or what was the detect magic?
It's Identify. I'd have to sit down and spend another 10 minutes on it. You
That's
would have
fine.
gone onto the back every time he has to do it. He has to sit down and spend like 10 minutes to do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can try and see if there are any visitors from Hades. Do you think that they are currently here, or?
I think we killed them yesterday. She's going to take the necklace off of the body.
Okay. It feels warm. Just not like uncomfortably so, just it feels warm in your touch.
Are these bodies? They're inside the building, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Is the building warm inside?
Nope.
Okay.
Feels cold.
I'll hand this to Laertes. Or attempt to hand this to Laertes. The necklace, I feel, has a warmness to it. Maybe a gain.
Make an insight check, Astrid.
I can tell that Laertes resents being handed stuff.
12?
No.
The warmth goes beyond physical warmth.
I feel like metaphysical.
It feels
emotion,
like the emotion of a memory. Like it gives you the same kind of warmth of a feeling inside, like when you're thinking of someone.
She wants to try to lean into that feeling.
You're like
place a hand on her arcane focus.
You have moment where you're in the process of handing it to Laertes, and you're like staring at the chain and the gem as it hangs in your hand, and as you lean into that feeling, there's the briefest shudder of like illusory magic that kind of pulses around your hand for a little bit, and then you rotate your fist around and open your hand up, and the gem projects in astonishing quality a group of 5 individuals that just kind of look like they are posing all together and smiling.
Oh. Do I recognize any of those people from the memory with Reese and Raya?
You
Or the way
don't.
they're described? No.
No, not off the top of your head. No. But they do appear to be friends, like posing together in this illusory image, and
Not
you
a
feel that
family,
same
but-
warmth. But yeah, though, because they're different. They're different
Okay.
races.
Is this something that is accessible to all of us?
Yeah, I mean everyone can see it.
Perhaps we leave that one where it was found. But I took out other gems, not the ones that I took from where we were resting, but from Rhea's place. You left before you got to see the rest of these, and you seem to connect on some level. You should, in your own time, go through these when you can.
Yeah, I wanted to. I think I need to give myself time over the next couple of days, if we survive that long, to go through those, because I'm not doing something right, and I'm hurting myself every time I do. I'm getting better at it, but
Well, team effort, I suppose.
she'll take the crystals and put it in the backpack.
Okay.
I'll place the locket, the necklace, on the tummy area of the person who had passed, and just leave it there.
Okay.
What's in the coin pouch?
The coin pouch has a bunch of small, square-shaped pressed metal ingots, not unsimilar to the coins that you are familiar with, but these are square in shape. You basically have acquired 300 gold.
No.
Oh, dang.
If you could find anyone who accepts it.
Yeah.
The exchange rate is a nightmare.
You guys move closer to the center as you continue this last little bits of the colony. Here, things look you can see almost like there's a couple of ruins of buildings that look like they had been here at one time and then had been completely washed away. This doesn't look new. This looks like old. As if the brunt of whatever forceful amount of water had passed through here had taken the initial buildings that had been closer to this centerpiece. And there before you, you see a clearer view of the large central structure. Before I do that, Themister, what were you going to say?
I guess it can wait actually, because you're in the middle of a description.
No, you're fine. Just in case.
It
That's good.
will take some time, I imagine. So
Okay. Then hold on here. You see the large structure that looked like a mountain, and you see now and hear the sound of water rushing over the side of a cliff, a small waterfall. The structure itself hangs over a vast, empty pit. And as you approach, there's no trees here. It's just some long, tall grasses that grow here by this the stream that is now rushing over into nothing. A lone bridge, if you can call it a bridge, extends from a platform here off to the side and into an opening into the base of this large square hanging cube. You have reached A.T.L.A.S. And that is where we are going to go to break.
Hope he's nice.
All right. Before what have I missed? Everyone is very serious. Very serious, Hannah. How could you? We waited so long, and now here you are, and we're so glad. But yeah. Your perfect timing, because we'll catch you up in chat as best as we can. We're gonna go to the break real quick and grab a glass of water before we continue on to this next phase, I guess you can say. Dum dum dum. All right, we'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. That's important.
Get
Huzzah!
it together, Aaron.
You've been doing this for like 4 years. Come on.
When am I ever gonna get this together? Exactly. It's been 4
Hey,
years.
at least we haven't had to point to the "you're muted" mug yet.
It's right because I hit it.
It's
Oh, I
right
did.
Here, Aaron.
Are
It's
Yes,
never,
that was the
ever,
solution.
ever stream together.
There it is, right there. I did want to show off this. I know. My boss, knowing how much I love what I do, made me a Christmas present. That is the Knight's Silver Moon thingy, as like a little book. It's got my name on the side.
That's cool as hell.
Yay.
Did you tell him it's
And-
spelled wrong just to really mess with him?
And it's got a whiteboard on the inside so I can write stuff. Cause she's like, I wanted to make it a DM screen, but I think I kind of I didn't realize how big DM screens needed to be, and I was like, it's fine.
That's so
with a little thing for
cool.
pens, it's all felt on the inside.
She uses
and
a
then-
dice tray.
And then a dice box that's also felt on
That's
the
so
inside that looks like a
cool.
little thing.
That's really cool.
One of
So-
a kind.
Mm-hmm. Yep, she made it herself. So thank you, Tess. That was very nice. I'll put it right here.
Thank you, Tess.
I love it.
I do. Okay. If he never had his shit together, no one can say he's gone downhill. Pure strategy. Ah, beautiful. Thank you, Hannah. I appreciate that. I thought that was gonna go another direction, but I appreciate the sentiment there, and it's a lot more credit than you give me.
That's my secret, Cap. I keep expectations low.
Very low. They just go, oh, Aaron, he's at it again. Okay.
Also, hi, Hannah. I can't see you in chat for some reason.
Oh, I love it. Okay. Where are we? Oh, yes, that's correct.
A.T.L.A.S.
A.T.L.A.S.
The ocean.
The middle of the ocean. That is where you are. So as you see this large structure with and I say it's not like it. You've seen bridges before. It's not like that's like a new thing. It's the fact that this bridge seems to be suspended on nothing. There are no supporting struts. It has. It's almost like a 15-20 foot walkway. A wide walkway that expands across this pit of nothing. And it is the fact that it has nothing it is not hanging on anything. It has like a railing on either side. But that is it. It just seems to hang there, as does this large cube structure that just hangs in the air with apparent ease.
Well, I'll go first. Cross the bridge.
Before we do, Themisto is going to turn and, noticing that Phoebe has been kind of keeping her distance from the rest of the crew, is going to walk over that direction. And you are, of course, your own woman, but I do think we ought to stick together.
Sorry, I did not mean to fall behind.
There is something on your mind.
Several things.
If any of those things you wish to talk about,
I don't know. Maybe later. As someone who also serves Apollo, I promise I will talk to you about it.
all right. And then I guess with that, we will Artemis is going to turn her attention back to this vast object.
Okay. Who's leading the way?
I
Cypress.
can jump if
Artemis.
something happens.
We're gonna say Laertes.
Oh,
Anyone mind holding a rope?
You take a couple of steps onto the bridge, and it doesn't feel unsteady. It seems to echo oddly with your boots, like it's made of metal. So it echoes in the strange like way of like boot on like a metallic bridge.
Would anyone mind holding a rope? Till one of us is across and at least establishes that it is a bridge.
Is there a place that I can fasten my rope?
Mhm.
Okay. I'll do that.
You see that the edges of where this bridge makes contact with the side of the pit looks like there had once been more structure here, but it is long gone. And the grass stops probably like 10 feet from the edges of it, and it looks like damp earth. And it kind of gives you a little bit of ABGBs because damp earth, as being a cliffside, kind of does not bode well when it comes to like maybe how sound it is, but it doesn't seem to give way at all. And the bridge itself is built in with metal that kind of digs into the ground. So there are posts on either side that you can easily tie a rope to.
Yep.
Thank
She'll
you.
do that and be like, here's one better,
Thank you.
just in case.
What? Yes. Well, I say at least one of us goes across. I'll go first to establish that it can hold a single person's weight. And then the rest of us can decide what to do after that point.
Astrid will hold your hand, or maybe under your arm, in case you fall on the first piece or whatever.
Thank you. All right, I'll go first. And he
All right.
will start walking across the bridge.
Alrighty. Laertes, what were you gonna say?
because it's basically just like sheer cliff face at the edge.
Yep, it
Okay.
just goes in
I'll-
a big circle all the way around, like a sinkhole.
I'll go to the edge just in case the rope isn't enough, and I have other ways to help.
Okay. Looking over the edge, as if you dare, it looks like there is like.
Actually, to that point, Laertes would look over because he would not have a fear of heights. He would have a healthy respect for physics, as someone in his profession would, but it wouldn't bother him to look down.
Looking down, you see that the water disappears into mist, probably about 300 feet below you. And it just looks like there is like this roiling cloud of mist that just kind of dances and covers the visibility about 300 feet down. But whatever happens below that, you cannot tell. On the opposite side of this large, and we're talking, this is like almost a mile and a half of space until you reach the opposite side of this hole. It is a vast, vast pit. Very much in essence, it almost looks like you have a Borg cube that's just planted over this hole, and there's nothing that is holding it aloft.
So
On
a
the
black tar that's trying to assimilate all the things coming out of a Borg cube. Really, that's what we're doing here.
on the opposite
Assimilate
side,
this.
on the opposite side of the pit, where you can see that there are cliff faces that go up, and it almost looks like for player description, as if you had taken a large drill and had just dug into the center of a mountain straight down, because the cliff edges they're not perfect all the way around. It's like you can see where the mountain had come to a point, and it's just like from the top of that mountain all the way down, it's just a bored hole that's into the ground. And so it's like this had once been an island with a mountain or like a not volcano, but just like a mountain in its center. And then that center was just like cored out like an apple and replaced with this this cube that just sits there. And on the far side, you can see another canyon very similar to where you are at, but it has no bridge to connect it to the bottom of the point. This seems to be the only entrance into this creature.
Did you say
Our creature?
I was like,
This
did
structure?
you just reveal
No.
something you weren't supposed to?
No, I don't know why I said creature.
Inside check.
No, it's structure.
Is this an Alaskan bullworm situation?
Should have been into this creature.
It's an Alaskan bullworm.
It's
No.
not. It's become a different show.
Hey, Aaron, is the structure breathing?
No, it is not breathing.
Mm.
And we'll give you that one
Flexing,
for free.
tensing.
Going into Atlas's hole.
Is it puckering?
I was gonna say, which end of the creature are we at, Aaron?
This is why I hate English.
It is a gutter language, to be fair.
Anyhowsen. All right. So as you know what, Hannah, just for that, I'm gonna say pudding every chance I get. This means war. All right. So Cypress, you are crossing. You're crossing alone. You go like, I don't know, how far do you go before you realize that it's not giving way and it doesn't seem like it's shifty at all?
I mean, I'd keep going.
Okay.
Get a bungee
And-
snap on that rope and just.
You yank me back.
Well, you tie it off, right? So at one point, you're just gonna start running like T1000ing it, and then just reach the max and then snap.
Oh yeah, it is 50 feet. I just for my visual, you already gave a great visual, but it's a very long bridge. Then it's not
Mhm.
that. Okay,
Mhm.
cool. So
Yeah.
so
I love that I'm like, I don't have anything square, and I'm like, I'm dumb.
I didn't want to say anything. But
You should have said something. I literally had them on the desk, and I was just like, I don't have a square thing anywhere. But yes, okay, so it sits like this, just those flat sides, and the bridge kind of goes to about a third of the way up into that structure.
I guess I got confused by one thing about it. Was it sort of free floating on
Yeah.
that point? Okay,
Mhm.
that's the way I thought
Yeah,
it was like half, like partly embedded in the ground.
No, it's
No,
just
just floating in open.
It's just
okay,
floating in
now
an
it makes
open
more
space.
sense.
The only
I'm so
connecting
sorry.
no, you're fine. The only connecting thing is literally the bridge. I guess now that I think about it, the bridge would be the one thing that connects it to the side of the hole. It's just
I am on board now. Okay.
when Cypress reaches the edge of the rope, I'll turn around and be like, should we either untie me or tie it off to someone else?
If something happens, I could keep us all in the air. So we might as well just go as a group.
Okay.
We're better together so far.
Cypress will fast track, retrace his steps, untie the rope, and hand it back to Astrid. Thank you. I didn't actually look at how long the bridge was before I came up with that plan. Anyway, I'll still go out up front.
I should follow close behind.
Laertes will stay in the middle in case something happens. Then he could help everyone, presumably.
I'll watch in the back in case I need to fly and grab somebody.
And the Mista will be between Phoebe and Laertes, because being like somewhere in the middle, not to be helpful, but to be more easily saved.
that was beautiful.
I admire,
I'm not an
admire
asset, but
that
I'm not a
practical
liability.
honesty.
I'm jumping off this bridge.
Oh no.
Oh well.
Oh no, Phoebe saved me. I
Oh no,
fell.
I'm out of spell slots. That's the last
Wow.
words here.
I'll be behind Cypress.
Okay.
That's okay. Somewhere like second. or third.
Wielding a dagger.
Pushing him.
Oh yeah,
forward.
for sure, pushing off.
Beautiful. All right. So, as you are walking, your feet all echoing across the pit that you are that you are walking over.
I'm
So
What
scared.
is
Sorry.
this? Like,
I don't know.
Yeah.
That you are
Massive creature and you're falling off the bridge.
sorry.
Aaron's just done
Do-
with this campaign.
Do any of you look over the edge?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a
Yes.
railing.
Yeah,
They
there's
can play on
railing.
OSHA.
But what is this? The Empire? Come on, we have railings. Here.
Yes, with the specific thought of
Yeah.
Waiting until Cypress gets real close to the edge, and Pethos is like, "Yeah, let's go look at this."
no, I think this is the closest. I don't even know that, not metaphor, but like analogous visual of Oblivion, and I think he's going to, which is a very interesting place that we're also in. So I think he'll take as long as everybody else is looking at it, take the longest.
You
kinda
There's
get
no
lost.
fear voids.
as each of you kind of take a peek over the edge and you look into the roiling mists down below, you realize that you had not heard the sound of birds in a while. You don't know at which point the sounds had stopped, surely near the edges of the colony itself.
Is it that we can't hear over the sound of the waterfall, or that it
No.
has gone silent?
And that's what's interesting. You hear the sound of the water. It's like hearing half of a waterfall, because a waterfall is you listening to the water splash, right? You are hearing the water rush over the edge with that same sort of like fast moving water hitting like rocks and things surface, but there is no sound of a crash of the water hitting any bottom. It is just like, it's almost like you're hearing you're hanging on nothing kind of thing. So it's like, I don't know how else to describe it than you're hearing half of a waterfall, because you don't hear it hit the bottom. And the way that the mist roils, it is very akin to like fog or clouds even. Clouds. It looks like clouds below. And as you walk over, there is almost a little bit of pearlescence to the air, as if you're looking at there is a really fine mist of water in the air, and the light hits it, and it kind of like creates that like misty, rainbowy like look to it. That's what it gives you. And the further out you walk, all you hear is the echoing of your own feet, and that is the only sound.
In looking over the edge, especially seeing the clouds, I think what Phoebe is trying to find and to feel, I think it's finally hit her that she saw Apollo, quote unquote, die. Knowing how much, even though she hates the way Lethe is interacting with Penthos, Penthos is getting interaction, and so is Cypress with Aphrodite. And the closest she has felt to Apollo since seeing Diodoros die is when she's flying with her celestial wings. But at this point, she still hasn't flown like in the sky in that way. And so getting to walk over the clouds, hoping for some of that feeling.
Mm-hmm. There is a sense of foreboding to it, a little, but a sense of expecting hope, I guess, right? It's like a little mixture of both of those things. Penthos, what were you going to say?
I think as he's looking over with everyone else, he'll kind of say to himself, almost hopefully, probably more hopeful than Penthos's sounded. So, kind of looking over his shoulder toward the scarred village, town. We are the Orphics who battle now. What a mantle. for us to take?
Sorry, what for us to take?
Mantle.
So that part you do remember. And you name yourself as one.
You did say we.
Yes. We.
Hey, Bentos, if you think about it and look sideways, that waterfall looks a bit like a river. What you think?
Oh. Hunter just thinks that's really nice.
Beautiful.
This is a nice visual. Yeah, Pintos will just smile, almost like he dare not chuckle. That's not Pintos' thing, but he'll smile.
You get to the door, or as you approach the door, you see that there is a door on the far side.
That would suck if there wasn't.
Yeah, there's a
Just
it's
a
just
single.
small. It is a large double-sided double door of two large pieces of metal that look jagged for whatever reason. Like the center of it is not a straight up and down, it kind of goes up and then curves and then comes up again.
Curve or sharp angle? Like very
Sharp
sort
angles.
of techno. Okay.
Very techno.
Is there any kind of glassy looking panel on
There
this
is.
like there has been on other things?
On the far right side.
Would anyone mind if I go to take a look at that?
Please go ahead.
Yes, I hope that you would.
And he's just going to see if like does it already have anything lit on it, or
Just a
Kinda
smooth
be woken up.
glassy surface. A blacky
Okay.
surface.
in my mind I'm thinking of like black ice right now.
Mhm.
It's not a great sensation considering where I live. With the obelisk, was it already lit up or did I have to do something? I'm trying to remember.
It was not lit up.
Okay. I guess I'll just sort of tap on the glass to see if that wakes it back up.
Mm.
Does Windows come alive from its sleep mode, or
There is nothing that happens for a moment, and then it slowly glows to life with an amber light. And you see Bahiran's script like shudder and appear as if it's like waking up. Like it's just like the digital like as the words clearance.
I will actually look over my shoulder at Penthos. Do you want to see if your card opens up yet another door in life?
Yes.
I will step out of the way and kind of allow him to get there.
He will move to the front, take the card out of the pack, run his thumb over the textured ridges of the card, kind of shoot his head up and look at Astrid for a moment, shake it kind of out of his brain, and in Bahiran, as he presents the card to the appropriate interface, say, "We are here to help."
Card recognized. Welcome, Gargoyle Alexov.
Pinthos will, given that there's not like full door that opens, like put a hand toward the door, like all of, like when you hear really bad news, you know, like where your legs buckle kind of thing.
Mhm.
Like he really just has to find a way to support himself.
It's interesting. The door, as though the sound echoes out, and in Bahiran that it says that.
So that,
Astro-
for clarification, that phrase was in Bahiran.
but the name. I mean, I feel like in most languages,
Gargoyle Alexis.
Like the rhythm
the
would
rhythm
yeah.
of it
make it.
make it
Yeah,
say
it has
so
the
where
cadence.
Alexov is clearly a name.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not like we all just heard it call him.
Correct.
Except for Laertes.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, in
Yeah, so he's kind of like,
Oh, can I
the
try
card
that?
as it placed there, a image appears within the glassy surface. Do Penthos, do you want to describe what the visage that they see there?
Sure. The visage is of a seemingly human male with Caucasian skin, long, almost like matted black hair, just very unkempt, and with a large beard. Very like furrowed brow, not a happy individual, scarred. And most notably of anybody who sees this, the eyes are identical to Pinthos's.
Pentos. We have trusted you this far. But I need you to explain some things.
The door is open. With an unnerving quickness, and a dark hallway lies beyond.
When you say like the face, is it like a hologram kind of thing, or is it like on like flat surface kind of thing?
It's within the material. It looks three-dimensional, but it doesn't. So it doesn't stick out like hologram. It looks three-dimensional within the glass. It's like almost seeing a amber-colored, hologram of this individual.
Before I follow you inside, I need you to explain.
And this music is so unnerving. Okay, to be true to the character, Phoebe, what you guys see is Penthos is in front of you guys. He has dropped the card out of kind of a shock, right? You have seen him kind of buckle, and he's kind of regained composure. Yeah, what's up?
Street's going to run up to you and meet you at your buckled stance.
Okay. He's going to be staring. It's angled in a way that you can see what he's staring at, but he notices the image. And he is, I think the Misto would have probably seen the closest physicality, because it is like your shoulder blades are breathing, you know, it's like that full kind of torqued, I am struggling to, like being stabbed in the back kind of thing. And so, Phoebe, I think you recognize that he's not ignoring you. It's that he is struggling to just be at the moment. So I think, depending on how long you want to pause there,
The
I think.
go ahead. We're gonna say. You think what?
No, that's it.
Oh, for both of you, Penthos and Astrid, there's like a little bell that goes off in your head, so to speak, of going, oh wait, that was the name. You hadn't thought about it before, but that was the name that you had heard before. And it's like a domino effect. The name, and like more memory unravels in your heads as to the conversation that you had had the night before. The finding of Bahiri, the like looking at the map of Bahiri, the looking at the particular building, the saying like he is here, and then the wild look in Penthos's eyes as he like repeated the name over and over and over. For Penthos, there are memories that start coursing through your brain that you have never had before. And it's like you're seeing things that feel foreign and alien to you. And it's overwhelming all at once before it becomes mist in your mind, like the mist that roils down below. It's as if you're seeing somebody else's life flash before your eyes, things that don't make any sense, that you have no concepts for. And yet it feels like it's a part of you to an extent. It's like reading a book, but it's not a book, it's just the visions and memories of somebody.
I'm going to use kind of a mechanic to my benefit here real quick.
Yeah.
Just want to say how you described how I'm feeling. Everyone gets that. And this isn't like it is attributing to how you're feeling. This is how Penthos is feeling very specifically. That's it. Laertes, what were you going to say?
I just would have edged closer to Phoebe. I'm not going to reach out to touch her shoulder, but you kind of get the impression he almost does that, but thinks better of it. I don't think right now he has the answers that we want, that you want. And I think we're going to get them if we go inside. Because if whatever happens is going to happen, we don't want to do this at the edge of an abyss. Let's at least get inside a room.
Astrid.
She's gonna search in Panthos's eyes for, in feeling what he's feeling, the recognition of whether who he was good to him, or if this is a bad thing. She wants to kind of see that in his face. If he does. If he shows that. So, insight.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
I was just about to tell you, but yeah.
21.
Okay. I think you realize that you're looking through the wrong lens of that question. It is not good or bad. That's not the most important thing. The most important thing is that he is completely foreign to himself.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this is obviously an emotional individual, very just a different being. And you can fully recognize that something has drastically changed in like the concept of identity, right? Like his world was shattered in a moment. That happened a minute ago. So there's not really a communication that can happen because he's lost language almost. I think he meets your eyes though. I think he does. Like the first thing of like, and it's a look that screams like, help me.
Hey. Remember the core things. You have Leafy. You have your river. Your device. The whales. And your beautiful music. That's all you need to concentrate on right now. You have all of us here with you.
Astrid, who is in my mind. And I'll look back and like palm the visage of who's on the screen. What have they endured? I'm gonna like snap my neck toward Phoebe. I am sorry. I do not have the answers that you and I both want. I don't know.
Astrid having mentioned that the waterfall looks like a river, Phoebe's just gonna look over the edge and yell out, "What did you take from him?"
There's no response. But your voice echoes. And then is muffled. And then echoes back. But sounds distorted. It's a strange reaction to sound. This is a strange place. And the cavernous maw of the open door beckons. It's kind of like, it gives me the vibes of like the abandoned buildings in the Aliens movies. So it's just like they open the door and you just see like corridor of metal, and it's like, come in, but then also like, the fuck, I am not.
It's funny you say that because my first thought was when this little console was coming to life was the opening of Alien.
We're on the same mind track.
Yep. Yep.
Cypress, we're gonna say.
Venomous. I don't know most of what is happening in this strange place. And I can't pretend to know what you are going through. But the only question I have for you in this particular moment, are you our ally, or are you our enemy? Not were you, What are you?
I think with the question, Penthos sees himself objectively for the first time. It wasn't a comfort that's Astrid was putting out, but it was effective in helping him realize the stakes and the moment that everybody was sharing. And so you see him, given a few moments, steel himself, put his shoulders back, wipe his face. I am and will always be your ally.
And the only way to go is forward. And he'll walk up to where he's much shorter than you, but right next to you. Give you a long sideways smile and nod. And then he will expose his back to you for a moment and step not very far, but into the doorway. Anyone else?
I'm going to step into Penthos's periphery just so he sees me first before I do this. And just, I'm going to very tentatively reach out my hand to his arm. I don't know what this is, or what it all means, but we're going to find out the answer together. And I know you don't have control over any of it, but I have trust in you. And as his hand kind of just sort of combs through like the forearm, at first it's just that sort of tingle of like fingers going through hair. But there's more to it, as it almost seems like things are being perceived just that much quicker. His reflexes seem just that faster. As I give him the gift of alacrity for the next 8 hours as a sign of my trust in him. And mechanically, that is for the next 8 hours, you can add a 1d8 to your initiative. Watch me be the first person he kills.
Faster now.
Well, I love me some Greek tragedy, and I feel like that's just a perfect setup for it. So,
Thanks, man.
You guys,
going to set that up real quick on my sheet.
Mhm.
Cast done.
If the Laertes and a Penthos stand at the top of a fall, how fast does the Laertes fall?
He doesn't. Penthos, on the other hand,
Phoebe.
As Phoebe starts to take a step forward, she's gonna reach out for Themisto like they've done time and time again. And Themisto, if you look, there's still sadness there, but there's also this like undercurrent of anger as like tears fill her eyes.
Themisto will reach back out towards Phoebe.
And then Phoebe will start to head in towards the mystery cube.
As you guys
Themisto will
together,
be right beside her as she does.
as you guys walk in, there's, oh, let me see here. Hold on. Let me get the right thing. Oh, it wasn't this one. What was it doing? I put it here at the bottom. Okay. As you walk into the cube, you walk down this like gangway basically. your footsteps going across metal grating as you guys walk. You don't get about like 30 feet in before the hallway that you were walking in opens up, and you realize that the inside of this cube is basically hollow. Hollow and broken. For on the opposite side that you were not able to see, a massive hole exists, probably about 50, 60 feet across, as it looks like something exploded from the inside outwards. The walls, each wall of this cube seems to be probably about another 50 or 60 feet thick of this dark black like obsidian stone. It's got strange geometric patterns that are cut and groove across the entirety of the surface that you can now see thanks to the sunlight coming in from the gaping wound on the opposite wall facing the opposite direction that you guys had been coming in from. There are the pathway continues for another 60 or 70 feet before it comes to a stairway that just seems to sit there on its own. Oh, I'm sorry, a platform, not a stairway. It's lacking a stairway. There is a platform there that sits there on its own. From the ceiling itself, it looks as though there are strands or something that hangs from the immensity above somewhere. It's almost like chains or tubing or something that just hangs downwards limply, like vines from a jungle. It's from the jungle trees. What are you guys doing?
I would go up to the walls have the geometric patterns on them, right?
It's a smooth surface, but it looks like it's cut with these like different hexagon. Like all the shapes fit together, but it looks like they are just different like patterns that kind of expand outwards.
Does it look at all like what was in that crystal? Or is it something else entirely?
Something maybe akin to it. It repeats itself a lot more. The ones in the crystal seem to kind of vary, and a few repeat, but this just kind of repeats itself. So it's hard to tell if it's like by design, like decor.
It doesn't look like it's. Does it look like a mural, or does it look like it's? No, it looks more functional than that.
Yeah, it just looks like it's almost like just like a repeating, almost like a somewhat repeating pattern that goes up and across.
Okay. As I get closer to the wall, kind of just holding up my hand to it, does it give a bit of that,
cold, wet stone.
Cold, wet stone.
Mm-hmm.
So absolutely nothing radiating off of it.
Not at the moment.
Is there any kind of blast pattern on the floor then?
No. From where you're looking on the metal grating and you're like looking over the edge and you can see the like I said, the light coming in from outside, it is literally like a hollow cube. And then when you look back up again, you see that there is a platform that sits on its very center.
Sorry, this is outside the
No,
hole,
this is
or-
inside. This is inside the cube. At its center, there does look like there is another platform that sits at its very center.
Oh, I see. I guess I'll just wander to that and then let other people do their thing.
Okay. Well, this platform that you see above you is probably a good 200, 300 feet up in the air.
Sorry, my brain's kind of starting to fry at this point.
No, you're fine.
Ground level.
Yeah, no. So the ground, the pathway goes for about 60 feet. It comes to a very obvious platform. It does have railings all the way around it, but there is no stairs or anything else that would lead to this platform that's like 300 feet in the air in the very center of this hollow cube.
Okay. I'll just keep moving towards
The
that
platform.
section, but yeah, I'm like not rising up towards it.
Heard. Astrid.
Astrid's going to cast light on her star chart, kind of use that as a flashlight. She navigates. If she can shine it up above to where the ceiling is with the tubes or the chains, just to ensure what those things are.
Sure. Make a perception check.
Yeah.
And the rest of you?
18.
18.
I guess I'm looking around for stuff.
Okay.
I don't really know
This is
at
a
the
very.
moment. It's all very.
It's very.
much.
Yeah, it's very. It's a lot. It is, but it's also there's not a lot here. It's just like this platform, this gangway that leads to a platform that hangs over nothing, and then the platform that hangs in the center of the open space within this giant cavernous hollow cube. And then, like I said, the chains and tubes that are up on top, and you see the light as best as you can, because this is like 600-700 feet up in the air. You just start to make out what looks like another haze that's up there. So there's not
moving to the platform.
Yeah, going toward the platform. Making it to the platform, you see a small pedestal that sits off to the side in one of the corners. It looks similar to the one in the mausoleum, but not made of stone. This one seems to be constructed of metal.
Does it look interactable?
It does seem to have another glass panel on its flat top surface.
Okay. I'll motion everybody to, especially because of the nature of it being so hollow and there's not a lot there. This is kind of like, here's a thing that maybe will give us some headway, especially kind of like really letting A.T.L.A.S know, who seems to be the best at kind of interfacing with this sort of thing. The best of us, it could still
Read
be
the
bad.
language
We're
and use
worse.
Themista will approach that space, but kind of with a tug to Phoebe to see if she's into going that direction too. And
Yeah,
if
I'll go
not,
that way.
then no.
Okay. You go to the platform, everybody gets on. And then what do you do, Penthos?
Card.
Sorry, you need a different card for this elevator.
To go out fire.
You gotta go beat a bad guy and get the red one.
He pulls out
Just
another
keeps
card that's
blinking.
just cardboard, and it is like somebody drew on it with essentially a Sharpie.
It's just like the console blinking Metal Gear.
We have a number of the
Hallelujah,
minor
no.
keys. We need the big boss key.
No.
Oh,
Oh,
Zelda.
we'll fight the big boss.
Oh, the gun.
He's standing on the pedestal.
That hurt.
Why is there a red bar over Penthos's head?
Like swiping at it. Yes.
Who invented
It keeps
boss music?
growing. It keeps growing.
Yellow bar over the red bar.
Why does it say Alexov, destroyer of Orphings?
No.
Or it says
Cool name.
Alexov the Gargoyle. Whatever
Actually,
that
that's actually a bit of a clarification I wanted to ask. Was Gargoyle, did it come across as a name or a title?
Title.
Okay.
Athos, why is your theme music playing in the minor key one?
Clearance accepted. Gargoyle Alexov. Do you wish to proceed to the center?
I will say yes in Bahiran.
I'm going to very quickly be translating these things
Thank
for
you,
the
because I
group.
was about to ask in character.
Because here's the thing. I see no problem with that because that sort of seems to be our destination. I just want to be sure that everyone knows what's going on.
What's happening to us? Yeah.
Not you are entering the Kilomatic 5000. Laertes is quiet about it.
Can I
Atlas,
throw a
Atlas
curveball, by the way?
welcomes you.
Oh. I know it's very sad for Pinthos, but that's really cool.
Was Atlas the same term in Bahiri? Because I think Themisto would have picked up on that without the translation.
Is Atlas
Ancient
Yes.
language, ancient language Atlas. Ancient language.
No.
Can I say situation report?
You want to say situation report?
Yeah.
All right. Well,
I don't know if that's like, if this thing can give me information, or if it's just if I'm like talking to an elevator button, like, what's going on in the building?
Third floor.
Menswear.
I
You're gonna
will.
like the way you look. What?
I will say that the platform shifts as you say yes, and it starts to move upwards and fly you towards the center platform in the middle.
And to think I was going to offer to fly us up one at a time.
Take us back down.
Gargoyle says take down. Take down. Gargoyle says take down.
That wouldn't have been too bad.
Okay.
In the arms of an angel. What was that?
No matter the stakes,
If you do
never
say
waste
that
a
out
chance to
loud,
flirt.
through all of the feelings on her face, Phoebe will smile a little bit.
As it moves, you hear that voice that echoes loudly throughout the chamber, and it is extremely off-putting.
Atlas has been temporarily deactivated. Repurposing incomplete.
Can you ask it how long Atlas has been deactivated?
Yeah, I'll do that.
Approximately 1,000 cycles.
Okay, so it wasn't us. Thank you, Lertis, for translating that.
Yeah, at this point, just assume that's what I'm doing. I actually like to think that he's kind of just holding up like two fingers, and it's the sort of glowing blue line oscilloscope that's
Text.
playing it back
Awesome.
as audio.
Ask if it can be turned back. Sorry.
Oh, just so I have this written down properly. It says repurposing incomplete. Was that okay? Thank you.
Was the repurposing keeping this island buried, covered in water the way that the whole planet was?
Yeah, what was the repurpose?
Trying to think of a way to phrase that question.
Purpose
You're
of
typing it into
repurpose.
like early Ask Jeeves. What is
What was function of repurpose?
Yeah, that's good. I'll ask that.
Cyberus knows computers.
Function of repurpose unknown. Gorgani override needed.
at that? Phoebe's
Hey,
gonna like
Tungsten.
look at him and so.
I don't know if I should.
It goes to
So the purpose is unknown, and it needs a Gorgani.
Oh. Who initiated the repurposing?
Those are great questions. Yeah, just do that.
Gorgani clearance required.
Oh, okay. I see. It's a classified kind of deal.
We are supposed to be seers, after all.
I'm gonna pivot and look right at the Misto. Mister, it needs a Gorgani override to even find out what is being repurposed. If you do not want to, we do
Mind
not
you, you're about
to.
3/4 of the way. Yeah, 3/4 of the
So
way
we're,
up
we're
to
doing
the
the Mass
platform.
Effect
It's just
long
doing.
elevator ride.
It's just because it's just a very slow thing, but you're about 3/4 of the way up there right now.
Yeah. I don't know how. She's going to kind of stand up straight and go to the thing, and I guess approach it as if she were to perform a ritual. So she's going to hold out a hand to it and brush it across the front of the surface of the item of this pedestal here, and then Issei Gorgani. Reveal your secrets to us.
You say this as the platform reaches the top finally. And you see in this on this square. Well, maybe I should show you what you see.
Oh no.
By the way,
Why-
all the music is hitting all
Jesus
the beats
Christ.
perfectly.
Jesus Christ.
Let me turn.
All I see is butts.
Nice.
All you see is butt.
Aaron is like, yes.
There we
Fail
go.
to see
Whoops.
the problem there.
I was gonna say it's not a problem.
And these two reacted perfectly to that computer.
My hand is like shaking over here.
That
Sorry.
was,
You're shaking.
Amazing.
We're shaking. What's going
What is
on?
happening?
As you say this, the amber light, you will not see because I have not finished this yet, but you see the amber light that you had seen in the previous pedestals of glass light the entirety of this platform in different sort of patterns. So as you guys, well, and also I'm reusing another platform that may look
I
somewhat
wonder
familiar.
where I've seen that before.
I've been thinking about that since we walked into this place.
flashbacks.
But you see
Oh god.
Oh my god.
another strange box-like cube that sits on a platform that has broken black stone jutting from it unnaturally. It seems that there are various chains that tie this box to pillars that are on the wall. Now, mind you, the black stone structures here don't look similar in essence to the ones that you had seen on the village before.
Okay, because you know we were gonna
But
ask.
yeah, but also don't look the same. These look like the surface of the platform had been broken and jutted outwards, similar to the meld or shape earth that you had seen in the as previous wreckage from the battle that had happened. This looks similar. It's like the stone had been just pulled outwards and jagged points that may have been used to stab somebody. But yeah, you see this large box that is there. I wish I could I'll just let it rest on my cup for a second. The voice speaks once again. And as I should say, as the Misto was placed her hand over it, you see this golden light that kind of floats around Themisto's hand, as if a larger hand had guided hers to its place before it like fades away in golden sparkles that just kind of dissipate around her. The computer continues. As per the instruction of Gaia, a shard was locked away within the powerhouse of A.T.L.A.S. It caused the A.T.L.A.S system to fail, but the shard was contained until recently.
A shard of what?
Source unknown. The shard matched the biological signatures of Beldura and the plague that followed.
Of what?
Plague. She's gonna look at Laertes and Penthos while saying this, since they're...
I missed the last part. I'm so sorry. It's just hard to hear for some reason. Got a little purple.
It of what Aaron said or what Mister said?
Repeat again,
Well, what Aaron
please.
said, sorry.
That it basically said that it had contained a shard that matched a biological signature of Beldura and the plague that followed.
Have we heard Beldura?
As players, we have, some of us, if you recall.
Has Penthos very recently in this kind of memory dump found not just I like had the memory, but is it like a workable thing that I can pull from to answer the Misto's question?
You have not heard of the term before. It is one that has been very carefully erased from memory, from everyone's memory. The fact that it is brought up now kind of strikes Penthos with a little bit of familiarity, but he doesn't know from what source, as he himself has not heard it. But it does ring, or I should say, it does resonate somehow. Laertes, even in you, well, you go. What were you gonna say first?
You tell me what you were gonna say. Then I'll do mine.
Because I was gonna say, even in all of your studies, never have you heard of that name before. It is never. It's for whatever reason, whatever this is. Whatever this shard of Beldura is, it has never once come up in any sort of anything.
There's a little bit of a moth to a flame moment for him as he does kind of step off the platform towards it. He doesn't go all the way. He's just, there's this, it's like he's trying to study it from afar and he doesn't realize that his feet are starting to bring it just a little bit closer.
I
He's
think
just trying to study it, and he's just, oh, I'm getting closer, but he's not fully articulating it. And I think his eyes even start to do that faint blue electric fire as he's just, oh, that's interesting. I need to know all about that.
Yeah.
Wait, why did it fail? Why is it no longer captured?
Orphic entity, A.T.L.A.S.
Somebody released it. A plague.
Unauthorized access was made. The device was broken and opened. The shard released. entities Poseidon, Triton, Zeus, and Tethys arrived.
Repeat those names again.
Poseidon, Triton, Zeus, Tethys.
Were they killed?
Was
Laertes.
Ares the one that released it?
Although I suppose if Laertes is now walking towards it, we've got the information that we've got.
Laertes. He'll step. Cypress will step off the platform and catch up to Laertes. Tentatively touch him on the shoulder. Laertes,
Hmm?
are you all right?
Odd, but. And he's at a loss for words, and I think that's kind of somewhat rare for him so far.
The box-like thing that stands in its center. Laertes, make a Arcana or Intelligence check for me, whichever one.
That's a 27.
This thing in the center. It contains so much energy that it almost pulsates physically. It just resonates with so much power within it. And you can see that this doesn't look like its only form. It looks like there are pieces that are movable, manageable somehow.
It does seem
Despite
like
the-
it's. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, just despite the broken nature of the stonework around this floating stone platform that sits in this giant hollow cube that almost looks like a mirror image of this smaller cube. But the cube has been twisted and changed somehow, like a puzzle box of sorts.
Oh, do you want Xenobites? Because that's how you get Xenobites. So I was gonna ask, like, it looks like it's one of those like puzzle cube kind of things, not like a Rubik cube, but the ones that like
Yeah.
the shape can change.
Yep.
Is that what I'm getting from it? He's
Uh,
gonna slow down in his step, and has it only been responding to Themisto during all this?
Yes.
Okay. What will happen if this is configured properly? He says to her.
The box, the Atlas. She'll repeat that in her own archaic way.
Necessary. All Atlas devices must be reactivated and repurposed to original format before Atlas can reinitialize.
Is there
It
one of,
must have been very important to Gaia to stop this, to do such a thing.
is there one of these in every Atlas?
Is there a device such as this at the heart of Atlas across the stars?
The Atlas engine is necessary for the Atlas effect to protect the colonies.
And why was it disabled?
She repeats, but she also says, I think it was no choice. I think they had to use the most powerful thing they could to hold that plague. And then she'll ask the computer,
Reason unknown.
Ask it if Ares was the one that released it. Have we been following the one that released this?
I believe it said A.T.L.A.S.
I thought it said like Ares.
I heard that.
It didn't say Ares. Okay, I've been panicking that we've been following the madman that released this,
Oh, no.
and like Fae Hunt, we're the bad guys somehow.
Eris isn't Eris born?
Be interesting.
Hmm.
But yes, it is the same name.
That takes care of.
Cypress.
Cypress will look around the room and his eyes will flash gold. He'll attempt to divine sense.
Celestial fiend or undead? I always forget because I keep thinking it's ranger. It's the
I think there's a
rangers.
Fae in there.
Celestial fiend undead, just those three.
Mm-hmm. It's the ranger. Is the rangers is one that like is like massive sonar.
Yeah. I don't have that.
You don't sense anything of those in that nature, even as you look up and around. But it is not through those senses that your eye catches something up from above. Movement amongst the chains and pillars.
Everyone, we're not alone in here. And he will indicate the light of sight.
Mister will look that direction.
You see the tubes and chains that move up above shift with a tar-like ooze
Ooh.
as something strings its way across the ceiling.
We found it.
Oh, that's a shame. I can't detect that. We already knew, but that's a shame that won't help.
And you see this one long gooey strand just go in a very slow slime kind of way. It just like lands over by the box up here, and then another, and then another, and another, and another, and another, as it just kind of like oozes down, and then begins a tar-like swirl of a dance upwards into a form that's about 12 feet tall.
Can I bonus action?
Before
It won't step
before these long tendril-like wings display themselves, and a massive form appears
Oh.
Amazing.
on the opposite side.
I love the camera work of this right now. It looks so good.
Yeah, it's really
Pretty
good.
cool.
This is a nice foreground
It's-
background.
It's just this nice leading line to the center. It's so good. It's like we're forming a queue to die.
And guess who's
Me
right? in
first.
front?
Spring forth, brother Xavier, and protect me.
I'm glad I'm next to Laertes right now.
Wait, where's Laertes? There's a dotted line where he was.
There's a like out burn crater.
Yes, remember how there were essentially chalk outlines in that one house we stopped at? That's you.
All right.
We know what's next.
Who amongst you do I have to thank for this releasing?
You'll have us to thank for killing you in a moment.
And that is where we are going to end tonight.
Nice, Phoebe.
Nice line. That was good.
Cypress is like, oh fuck, I let him out. We turned something on a while ago.
Nope. Some mofo named Eris did this, started all this shit. That contains the base of what's now Phobos.
Themisto, as we end, make a religion check for me.
I will make a religion check for you.
I
Can
can't.
I, just as a preemptive, so my turn is not spent on it, channel divinity to enter into peerless athlete state?
Just write it
So
down.
peerless, so athletic.
That way you don't forget for next time, because I'm not gonna remember.
Super Saiyan!
That is an augmented 20, a genetically modified 20.
Nice.
A spiritually
Gotta work
enhanced.
on
Mute.
It is as this thing falls, and it looks like a larger, if more perhaps lither version of the creature that you had fought briefly in the village. The name Eris had kept ringing in your head why it was familiar, and she is known as the goddess of discord and chaos. So,
She's a jerk.
So, if you want to hang out with a bunch of jerks, come to see our Discord.
And chaos.
Wow.
I usually get to fight a god.
well done.
We're really early in this anime for killing God.
I know, I keep
Well-
forgetting we're level 4.
You say that, but a god died like the first episode. So
That's true.
It's
They
not
killed
really
God
a
before we
god,
did.
it's more like a sneeze of a god.
Nice.
And that's one reason why Phoebe's been so mopey. She's finally
allergies?
processing.
The allergies? Oh my goodness.
So what
well,
you're saying is the Misto is her rebound to get over someone else's death? It's a
She did
relationship
not
doomed
hook
to
up with
fail.
Diodoros. That's her brother.
I never said that that's what it was.
But I entrapped you into making that defense.
Suddenly Game of Thrones is on.
Oh my god.
beautiful. Well, guys,
Yay.
hella exciting. And very much looking forward to finishing this thing that I literally painted 2
Aaron,
hours ago.
Those how
Truly
Just-
are the
I just did it.
devious bastard in
I did
New
it-
York City.
I did it, and I was like, I should do this today just in case they get this far. I was like, they're probably not, but just in case they get to that point,
How dare you.
I need at least a thing. And then I was like, oh man, they were like right here already. Okay, well, it's a good
Isker
thing I
helped
haven't.
me
most-
remember where I've heard that name before. So if you want to hear that name, you should go watch the Game of Santos one shot. It's on YouTube.
Oh
Nice.
yes, the search for Lana.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Good thing we all long rested.
Indeed.
We
good
kill
thing.
the spiders and we're like, to the core.
To the car. Oh boy, I'm excited to see.
Yeah, everyone that was like, let's take our time and explore. Really feeling like y'all are the smart ones right now.
I mean,
Yeah.
I just like to get the platinum trophy, 100% completion.
Me too.
I've got Glimmerweave. I'm
5-star on each level.
Astrid and I both have Glimmerweave. We're set.
She's very excited about her.
It's
Glimmer
okay.
Weave.
Someone can, if we survive this and we get to a place, someone can lend me some glamour weave.
I'm sure it'll be fine. I don't know what you guys are so like worried about because nothing terrible.
We're
could
level
possi-
4. We're level 4.
Yeah.
And the
but-
thing we fought or about to fight looks a lot like the thing that our level 14 characters fought.
Anything you can kill, I can kill better.
Guys, I'm very expendable. You'll be fine.
No.
No, damn it, no.
Oh,
Also, you've been alive for a long time, and we knew that, but now we're seeing it.
you never know.
This is like Penthos pulling out like an old driver's permit ID, and we're all like, "Oh, look at young Penthos."
Yeah.
Except
All
it
right.
was thousands of years ago.
Eh.
Or
Like I
however
said,
long, I don't know.
we'll see. We'll see what all
We don't
is.
know all the things.
We'll see what all happens this next time. It should be a very entertaining thing.
Maybe he was in cryo. We don't know these things.
He's still been alive for that long.
On that note, We'll see
Why
you.
would crying keep him young? I don't get it.
I
Just
feel like
makes me
him
feel
being
old
in.
and bloated.
Did no one pick up on the joke about Pentos being in cryo? Come on,
Oh, I missed it.
Oh, I did not know.
I'm missing everything.
you're. I just want you to know I'm disappointed in each of you.
Well, what else
Sir.
is new?
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
You may have another. All right, you guys. Well, we'll see you next Tuesday for another fun and exciting episode of Age of
Yeah,
Myth.
fun. This
Well,
is definitely fun and not
it's-
stressful.
It's gonna be fine. It's gonna be fine. And then
It's okay, guys. I'm buff.
yeah, he's buff. We'll see you Friday night for I guess a trivia show that I'll show you how little I actually
She'll
know.
kick ass at.
Yes, that's what I meant to say.
As long as it's about the 2 movies you've seen.
That's so real.
Wow, you haven't even watched all of Star Wars. What's wrong with you?
There's a lot of Star Wars media.
I've
Only
watched it
the
all.
Phantom Menace.
Actually,
The Phantom Menace and what's the last one that I really hated? Episode 9.
Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah. that
Rise
one.
of Lucas's wallet.
I have all the things well, we won't get into that. It's like, all right, we're fine. All right, we'll see you soon. Don't go anywhere. Don't go anywhere. You can go wherever you want to go. Good night. Stay
Watch us die
faith, be
next
brave. Yeah, death
See you
comes
in
for
the
us
stars.
all. See you in the stars. Once it'll be great places to put your souls once they're harvested for Beldura. Anyway, I'll talk to y'all later. Okay, bye.
Who's that?